In order for a student to access and participate in the PARCC assessment, they will need to launch the TestNav application from their Chromebooks. For detailed instructions on how a student will access the TestNav application, please refer to the previously provided slide deck. Once the TestNav application is loaded, it's important to confirm that all of the students will show the word Illinois above the words Sign In. Illinois indicates the live testing site. If for some reason they see another state's name, or, as is the situation here, PARCC training, make sure you encourage them to select the User drop-down menu from the upper right-hand corner of the screen and select Choose a Different Customer. This will enable them to select Illinois and successfully log into the assessment. In order to log in, students will use the username and password that have been provided on the student testing ticket. The student testing tickets have already been pre-printed and have been placed into purple folders for each test administrator. It's important to remind your students that the username and password for PARCC are not their Glenbrook Network credentials. When you are ready to begin the assessment, have your students type in their username and password. Prior to selecting the blue sign-in button, make sure to click the Test Audio button to confirm that the students can hear a 3-chime tone, which confirms that they will be able to hear any supplied audio, and there's that tone, any supplied audio during the assessment. When ready, click the blue sign-in button. When a student first logs into TestNav, they will see the list of units in which they will be participating in. In this situation, we have a student, R. Gravel, who will be taking 3 units for the Algebra 1 test. You will notice that one of the units has a blue start button, while the other 2 units have a gray button with a lock on them. This indicates that the test administrator has unlocked Unit 1, but has not yet unlocked Unit 2 or Unit 3 for the student. If for some reason your students do not show a blue start button in a unit in which you have already unlocked, make sure they click the refresh button so that they can verify that the unit has been opened with Pearson. It's important also to illustrate that if a student tests out of format, for instance, if they miss Unit 1 but proceed immediately to Unit 2, they will see a gray start button at the top and not a blue start button. It's also important to mention that if a student tests out of sequence and they complete Unit 2 prior to completing Unit 1, when they log in the next day, they will no longer see units that they have completed. So for instance, that student, since they've already completed Unit 2, won't see that unit, but they will still see Unit 1 and Unit 3. To begin testing, students should click the blue Start button. Once the assessment loads, the student will see an opportunity to see that they are ready to test, and they can click another Start button to start Test Now. The sequence of clicking these buttons are all described in detail in your Test Administrator's Manual. Students have the opportunity to complete each question in sequence, or they can skip around by using the question toggle tools in the upper left-hand corner. Students also have the ability to click a bookmark tool, which will be a reminder to them that they have not yet reviewed or completed that particular question. To indicate a question that a student wants to bookmark for review, they can simply click the bookmark button. Students always have the ability to click the review button and to see all questions, those questions that have not yet been answered, as well as any questions that have been bookmarked by the student. At the end of the assessment, the students will approach the final question. Once selecting the answer for their final question, they can proceed to the end of the unit. At this time, students will be reminded about any questions they have not answered and will have the opportunity to click and see a roster of all of those questions, as well as any bookmarks they have. If they are comfortable with their progress, they can select the green Submit Final Answers button. Students will be reminded and encouraged to verify that they have completed the assessment and that they are in fact ready to submit final answers. In this case, I'll select yes. And the student will have completed their session. You will notice that in this screen, students now can see that they've completed Unit 1 and it's no longer in the list. However, Unit 2 and Unit 3 still need to be completed. Students cannot proceed immediately to the next session because those sessions have not yet been unlocked by their test administrator. In this situation, students may log out of TestNav by selecting the User dropdown and selecting Sign Out of TestNav. I'm going to proceed back and take a look one more time at what this looks like now in Pearson Access Next, also known as the tool and the portal for test administrators.